There he
Yo,
is, folks. It's the interview we promised. What's up, man?
what's up? Sorry, I was trying to figure this out. I couldn't get in.
That's all gravy, man. I'm glad you made it. I'll tell you, I'll show you how to go live after, because what do you got? You got about 16,000 followers, I saw.
Roughly, yeah. I just started posting TikToks for, I don't know, a couple weeks.
So you can go live after 1,000, and it's a great way to actually start trying to push your stuff and get out there more. So I'll show you how to do it after. But we have you here now. I'm just gonna pull up your video. We're gonna watch it all together, and then we'll just shoot the shit and kind of dissect it if that sounds good to you.
Sounds good.
Do you want to just tell the folks while I look it up here? Yo, thank you for the love there, Shane. Tell the folks who you are, what you do, whatever you want to tell them. Go for it.
Absolutely. Well, on my bio, I used to be a corporate consultant, corporate tool, corporate hack, whatever you want to call me.
Hey,
And
I worked for the government, buddy. So we are, you know, we don't judge here. You got to get out somehow. You know what I'm saying?
and now I'm here just to try to do research, trying to figure out what's really going on in the world. Don't just listen to the press releases that they throw out there. Just doing our own thinking, research, try to figure out what the heck's going on.
There is a huge movement right now. You know what? You know what your content reminded me of right away. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's called Cancel This Clothing Company.
Yeah.
You know that guy? He dissects the BlackRock shit.
Yeah, I actually just I made a video with him last week. So I also do I do kind of these explanatory journalism pieces for a YouTube show called Breaking Points. I don't know if you've ever heard of Breaking Points.
No kidding, James. I did not realize that. That's so cool. Okay, rock on,
Yeah.
my man. Well, I'm really glad we connected. Then this is fucking excellent. Breaking Point. So is that just on YouTube? Is there anywhere else people can find that?
Breaking Points, well, Breaking Points is on YouTube mostly, but I think they also have like a Spotify podcast audio version. And I'm on there probably once every couple weeks, and I do some kind of deep dive on a topic.
What was your latest? Deep dive?
It was on BlackRock. I don't know. I think that's in the cultural zeitgeist right now.
Oh, it's a big thing. I mean, I've been. I think it was 2 years ago, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I saw a video from the CIA YouTube channel Anonymous. You may be familiar with it, but they do put out some interesting info occasionally. And it was all about when you look up the shareholders on the Fortune 500 companies, and you see those three, the two names specifically. There's like three that you see, but two specifically. We're talking BlackRock. We're talking Vanguard. They own everything. I mean, everything. So this is the world that capitalism has built for us, and aren't we lucky, James?
I don't even know how to respond to that, man.
Yeah, don't worry. Sorry. A lot of times, my guests, you should see. I had LA Times reporter Carrie Blakinger on the show about 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about Greg Abbott. And I made a comment that literally forced her to cover her mouth and like just be like, nope, I cannot comment on what you just said. I was like, Carrie does not condone the statements here. Neither does James. All statements are my own. Okay, sorry, James. I'm chatting away. I'm pulling up your thing here. I'm gonna get it in 2 seconds, and we'll watch it and see what people think. How did you come across this? Like, I actually used the chart that everyone's gonna see in this vid in my update today, just to show people that corporate profits are doing just fine. We're all fucked, but the corporate profits are doing great, so that's good. What kind of made you want to make this video in the first place?
What are you talking? You're talking about the Fed raising interest rates, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously a lot of things, but I think the main reason is what I'm here trying to expose is that oftentimes what they say in their press release, they're talking about maximizing employment, lowering inflation. Oftentimes what they're saying is very different than what they maybe actually want to accomplish. So I'm just trying to draw a distinction between those two, I guess, inconsistencies.
Well, you know, it's funny. There's I forget who said it, but they talk about it in linguistics, how the English language was almost designed to be able to say one thing but mean something else. Like it's a fascinating rabbit hole to go down, but there's so many different words to use that all kind of mean the same thing, but depending on the kind, like, I mean, and then there's just classic doublethink George Orwell style where it's like, look over here, believe this. We know it doesn't make sense, but take your fucking medicine. All right, I'm going to play the video now, so we'll give you a second. I just got to turn my camera around, fam. So this was, James, you got 1 million views on this. Nice. Let's go. All right, guys, here we go. And play.
Induce a recession on purpose. Today, the Fed raised interest rates again to the highest level in 22 years. They say it's because of inflation, because we needed to tackle inflation. But could there be another reason?
The work from home phenomenon is a U.S. phenomenon. Workers saying, I don't want to drive into the city an hour and a half.
This is scary.
Home an hour and a half every day. But I also think a nice little recession will clear this.
Oh, just a little recession to get the workers back into line. Well, guess what else rate hikes do? Yes, they cause recessions. I want to show you one more piece of data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. In the past 3 years, 2020 to 2022, we saw a dramatic increase in the contribution of corporate profits as a percentage of unit price.
Yeah.
While other costs, compensation of employees, non-labor costs, have all gone down. Meaning that inflation is literally being caused by the corporations themselves. So,
Yo, okay, you know what I just realized, James?
What's up?
Those non-labor costs, you know what those are? Those are health and safety. That's quality assurance. That's all that shit that you see fucking falling apart in America right now. So the fucking boys can take home a nice fat bonus check. Let's go.
That's spot on, my friend.
Well, you know, I've been covering this this whole, you know, about late 2022. I noticed substations were getting attacked like crazy. That is maybe something a little separate, but it sent me down this rabbit hole of, you know, are we under attack? Is there some sort of pre-war sabotage occurring right now, or is it as simple as underpaid, overworked, under-regulated, fucking just a shit show of infrastructure failures by the system? I guess the answer is both, I think, in my opinion, but...
Well, I mean, from my perspective, so like I said, I used to work as a corporate consultant, meaning like a management consultant. Like you send me in and we do all kinds of stuff to maximize your profit. And that's pretty much all we did. We didn't really care about... What's up?
Like a forensic accountant almost, like kind of like you're going in there, you're looking at the books.
Yeah. Like I didn't work for McKinsey, but I worked for a company pretty much the same as McKinsey. I can't say which one for legal reasons, but one I can say it's not that one, but another one.
Gotcha. So what's are you able to talk at all about any of that stuff? Because I would love to ask kind of what's some of the craziest stuff you saw while doing that job, like the craziest cuts a corporation made, or the most absurd expenses. I don't know, anything.
Yeah. I can't share which companies they are, but I can talk a little bit about some of the things I saw. So I worked mostly, believe it or not, with pharmaceutical manufacturers. Mostly that was kind of my domain. And there was one instance of basically us going in and saying, hey, you need to outsource everything because, you know, if you have no assets on your books, then your numbers look really good. You're still, you know, sending everything, you're still making everything, but now you have no assets. And so it's just a way to financially engineer good numbers on Wall Street. But I kind of spoke up. This is where I started getting in trouble and I was kind of on my way out. It was that, I was like, hey, one of your like main core competencies at this company is like manufacturing. So you're going to like give up the most important part of your business, which is making the drug itself, to some other third party thing. And then what happens with the quality goes down, you're just fucked.
They didn't like you bringing that up, did they?
No, actually I said that in front of like one of our main account holders. Like from our company, we have like a relationship person, like a partner that's like paired up with the client. And I said this, and apparently it was not well received. They didn't say it at the time, but later on.
Fucking amazing. Okay, so wait, so for the layman's out there like us, so So you're talking about, can you put it like, okay, let's say my company makes soda pop. We sell
Okay.
fucking rip off Pepsi. What are you saying that you would that people would suggest they outsource, like you outsource everything? So I'm making the soda. I got my little factory here in Canada. You're like, fucking close that factory. Get one in China with child labor. Let's go. Bring the cost down. Plus it's off your books. I know I kind of butchered it, but is that like
That's more or less correct. Yeah, you're talking about, because when you're talking about having your own factory and your own manufacturing sites, that's like capital that you need to put in, you need to run, you need to pay for the labor of these people, the machines, the supplies, the raw materials. So if you're talking about, so if you have, let's say you have a soda company, news update for you, soda, whatever you call it, and it's basically now you just slap the label on it at the end. Somebody else is making it, so you carry no labor, no inventory, no. It's like drop shipping. Can you know what I'm talking about when people online talk about drop shipping? They're like, you have nothing except this is like, we're talking about not like random goods. We're talking about like complex pharmaceutical products.
it's kind of horrific. It's actually horrifying. Yeah. And I mean, oh, you know, buddy, I sorry to go on a tangent. There's something I might have to pick your brain on something. I have got some files from a certain vaccine test run. I'd love to understand a little better. So we'll talk after about that. But okay, so let's take it back to the interest rates. That's so cool, by the way, James. Thanks for sharing that stuff. I mean, I think we are all aware that that is happening, but to really hear it put so succinctly, like this is what, you know, not just like, you know, Nike, you know, your clothing companies, you always assume they do that shit. You hear about the Chinese factories making Nike shoes or iPhones, of course. Steve Jobs, hero of the people. Yeah. Anyways, so it's like, but to think about like pharmaceutical companies doing that, and you got to assume pretty much everyone else, if they can do it, they're probably doing it.
No, I mean, we've analyzed, like, for one of the competitors, we basically brought in, say, hey, look at this other company. And I was like looking at the data and I said, this doesn't make any sense. I was like, this company is selling, you know, millions, multi-million dollars worth of goods. And I looked at their inventory number. They have 1 day of inventory. This is getting technical in terms of like the stuff, but I was like, how could they possibly just have 1 day of supply on hand? And it turns out they outsource everything. So it literally is an accounting move where they put the inventory on their books and then immediately sell it because they don't actually make anything.
And does that help tax wise too? I'm guessing in some way, like they're I don't
That
know.
I'm not an expert in terms of the tax behind it, but we do have like part of our, when I was working there, one of our work streams, one of our teams specifically focused on how to make your taxes look better. So that was one of the, I didn't work with these people. It was just one of the, I guess you can call it my colleagues, but that was not my area of expertise. But we did have a team specifically for making, you know, whatever things you need, maneuvering around tax law to decrease taxes.
You know, as individuals, I fully support trying to pay as minimum tax as you can. For huge corporations, my thoughts are a little different. But I don't know. Maybe I should think about that one. That's an interesting self-reflection to give. But
Well,
having said,
we pay, I mean, I don't, you're in Canada, it sounds like, but as individuals in the US, we oftentimes, for most of us, we pay higher tax percentages than corporations.
yeah, I don't agree with that. That's
So at the very least, let's even it out. You know, let's pay the same.
yeah. What was it the one guy said? Corporations are people too. Wasn't there a politician that actually said that shit down there?
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but that, I mean, by definition, legally, they are people.
Yeah, they are. Legally, they are. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. Listen up, folks. If you want to get your tax fucking bracket down, just become a corporation. I got kind of I got an interesting one for you from Bastard78. What are your thoughts on derivatives trading and the results of it in banking?
Derivatives trade. So that's like a very complex topic, not necessarily my area of expertise. I mean, I did go to business school, so I have my MBA from New York University. So technically, I do have the same level of education as some of these folks, but I wasn't as indoctrinated, so to speak. But derivatives trade, I mean, that's basically placing bets on bets on bets. You can go very deep into derivatives trading. And there's actually, speaking of, you shouted out Cancel This Clothing Company earlier. He did this deep dive just in the last couple of days that I saw. Basically, we have very few assets. So imagine if you had $1 and you're making like 100 bets off of this $1. So you could have hundreds and thousands of dollars of bets off of this $1. So if something breaks along this chain, then that's when you see, major financial catastrophe. So I don't know what was the specific question, but I'm not a big fan of derivatives. It's just because, like, when I was learning about it, I was like, these are just made up products, and you're creating money out of thin air. So I'm not really one to say that's good for the economy.
Oh, it sounds like fiat money.
Oh, here it is. Oh, this is from The Big Short. Yep.
Yeah.
10 million because this hand is meant to represent a single mortgage bond.
So this is derivative betting, people.
Good hand here, showing 18. Dealer showing 7. That's a really good hand for Selena. Good odds. In fact, her chances of winning this hand are 87%.
So my odds are good. I'm on a winning streak. Everybody in this place wants to get in on the action. How could I lose, right?
Now, this is a classic error. In basketball, it's called the hot hand fallacy. A player makes a bunch of shots in a row. People are sure they're going to make the next one. People think whatever's happening now is going to continue to happen into the future. During the real estate boom, markets were going up and up, and people thought they would never go down.
So people who are watching and think that I won't lose will make a side bet. Now this is the first synthetic CDO.
I love Selena Gomez. Bet you 50 million she wins, and I'll give you 3-to-1 odds.
3-to-1 odds? Okay, I'll take that bet. Now, somebody else is going to want to make a bet on the outcome of their
Bet you
bet.
50 million she wins.
That will lead to synthetic CDO number 2.
Hey, I bet you 200 million that lady in the glasses wins that bet.
She probably will win, so I want a great payoff.
How about 20 to 1?
Deal.
And this will go on and on with more and more synthetic CDOs.
And we can transform an original $10 million investment into billions of dollars.
You okay?
His reaction is fucking perfect. That is fucking, yeah, that lined up pretty nice. Yeah, so I mean, for anyone bastard 70 or 87, it's, it's not good, but it's basically, it's just building off the back of what fiat money is. James, can I get your opinion on that? And actually, I'll give you a quick anecdote. I am not. I do not have my math, my BMA, but I did take a macroeconomics course in first year university. This was in 2008. So mid fucking semester, my guy comes in, the prof comes in, he goes, "Forget everything I taught you because it's all wrong. It's all wrong." That is what he fucking said, because it's like the mortgage collapse happened. And he was like, "Nothing I've taught you is relevant anymore." So we just scrapped like half the semester. Swear to God. So that was my intro into economics. So,
Hey, at least he was willing to admit that. You'd be surprised to see how many people are going to continue to go down a road that's, you could see that the wine is already sour and they continue to drink it.
well, it seems to me like we've just built it up to the exact same thing. Like there's a guy that does comparisons of Canadian fucking properties versus Scottish castles, European castles. You can get a 3-bedroom bungalow or a fucking castle in Scotland right now for $5 million. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, as soon as, if I ever get that bag, dog, I'm out of here. I'm going to Scotland. Guarantee you'll find me in Scotland. But what do you think about fiat money? And is it created out of nothing? It's just debt on debt? Is that something that kind of people just oversimplify it and just say, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'll let you take.
It's a complicated topic, but I'm going to simplify it. And then people can go out there and read more. And like I said, always go out there, do your own research. Don't just listen to what I'm saying or what you're saying. I apologize, but even what you're saying, just, you got to go out there and verify.
100%.
But couple of my thoughts. Fiat currency, pretty much it is built upon the country's ability to have a very strong army, navy, in order to enforce this acceptance of this money because it is not backed by anything other than an authority figure saying, hey, this is going to be worth this much because I said so. But with that being said, the risk of that is, like, my belief is that the dollar, the US dollar, strongest, fiat currency in the world, it will have to collapse one day. We don't know when that will happen, but the inevitable end is a collapse. We just don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, 10 years from now, 100 years from now, but there's no way that this continues because it's built on something that is arbitrary. That's my opinion.
That's a fucking beautiful way to explain it. I've never even thought to put it in those terms. Yeah, you need a strong military for fiat money to work. I love that. Didn't they just downgrade America's what is it? Their credit rating?
They did after we raised the debt ceiling for the millionth time because we can't figure it out.
Well, you know what they say. It's pretty hard to get happy, comfortable people to go to war, but if you make them real poor and desperate, they're a little more willing. Allegedly, based on history, I don't know.
You're not wrong.
It's a scary time we're living in, but it's also a beautiful time, man, because you want to know what? You cancel this clothing company. There's a lot of people advocating for this. Do your own research. Listen everything you can. Take in as much as you can, but never just take it at face value. I get corrected at least once a week on something I got wrong. Or something that turns out that it was like, you want to know what? I didn't even report on it, but there was that White House thing today in the Senate. My theory, you want to hear my theory, James? I think Mitch McConnell,
I didn't watch the news. What happened today?
There was like an active shooter reported in the Senate, and then they were sending in cops, but it turned out to be a prank call. So I think it's a CIA cover-up. I think Mitch McConnell went off the fucking rocker, went postal, grabbed a gun, was about to start spraying, but they turned him off. They got the lady in green to come and turn him off. So there was a crisis averted, and then they spun it and said it was a prank call. You heard it here first, folks.
I would love it if that was really the case.
Oh, man, I'm just playing. Listen, James, I am fucking delighted to have had the chance to chat with you, and I think if you're up for it, maybe a little weekly financial recap, add it to the schedule because I try and do this. We have Fugitive Fridays. We talk to a fella who's been wanted by the FBI for kidnapping his own son, who's 27 years old, for 17 years now. Fascinating fella, Chad Howard. Shout out, Chad. I hope you're doing better. They've got him trapped on a Caribbean island, and he needs surgery, and he can't leave. It's fucked. It's a weird story, but we do Fugitive Fridays with Chad. We got Carrie Blakinger in periodically to talk about the pieces she's been doing, usually LA County Justice. She covers the sheriff's office. She also went to Mexico and did some crazy stuff. Anyways, I'm babbling here, James, but it's because I'm excited, because the one thing I'm missing is a financial guy, a business guy. I think I just found him.
Hey, let me know. Happy to come back on if your audience finds me to be helpful in some way. Happy to do it.
That is fucking awesome. Why aren't we calling the lady in green poison ivy? That's a great question. Guys, thank you for taking the time to listen. James, where do you want it? Obviously, guys, follow my man right here. Hit that follow button on his account. He's putting out lots of great content. More to come, I'm sure. What was that podcast called again, James?
So I'll let you know what. So obviously I'm on TikTok here, fairly new to TikTok, but I have a YouTube channel as well. With all the links are in my bio on the TikToks. If you go there, the breaking points links are on there as well. So if you go to my TikTok bio, you'll be able to find everything there. So check it out. Hopefully it's a good starting point to start your people's journey to like acquire more knowledge.
So I just want to make sure. Is this it here?
That is breaking points. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So mostly it's not me. Mostly it's Crystal and Sagar. They do great work. But I'm
gonna dig into that. I'm gonna dig into that. I've seen them pop up periodically, but now that I know someone, I can put a face to it. I'm gonna have to dig in a little deeper. Anyway, James, anything else? Any sage advice you want to leave the people with, or anything coming next? Maybe what should we watch for next? Where do you think this is all going?
So you talking about interest rates specifically? Well, I would definitely look to see, because can I add something? This is one part of the video that you showed that I had to go back and make a second video. So the guy that, that billionaire that was talking about, hey, people going back to work. Hey, we're going to do a nice little recession. They're going to all come back. So the guy that he was talking to, I didn't notice it the first time, but there's an interviewer that he was talking to. So that interviewer his name is David Rubenstein, and he is the co-founder and co-chairman of this massive private equity group called the Carlyle Group.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I did more research. So then Jerome Powell, who is the chair of the Fed, he used to work at the Carlyle Group. Not only that, he worked there for about a decade. Not only that, the guy that hired him was David Rubenstein. So when people say, hey, you're just making, there's no connection, but there actually is only like 1 degree of separation. These guys are all buddies talking amongst each other. So there's, it's just like right there. And I was like, I can't believe I didn't notice the first time who he's talking to. I didn't even pay attention to that. But then, so I had to go back and make another video and say, hey, guys, you can't make this stuff up.
You just hit me with some very George Carlin tones there. There's a where he talks about, look, it doesn't have to be an organized conspiracy. These guys all go to the same country club, my friend. They all went to the same schools. They all hazed the same poor fucking sophomores at their shitty fucking frat, whatever those things are called, with the rich kids. You know what I'm talking about, James. Anyways, man. It's
yes, that's all I'll leave you with. You got to, continue to just dig into stuff. Obviously there's a lot of truth. Like, my take on the media is that they do report a lot of true stuff, but they craft different narratives based on that information. And I try to look, hey, is there anywhere else we could take based on that exact same information? Is there another story? And that's what we got to think about and say, hey, who is this really benefiting?
Yeah. There's a great app, Ground News, quick plug, but they actually will show, I just discovered them. I was talking to them today, and they'll compile all the news stories that have been written about a topic, and they'll show you which spectrum those lie on. The blind spots are fucking insane, bro. Like, there's that story about Facebook being ordered by the White House to suppress COVID, to suppress anything suggesting COVID was man-made, which we all know it was now. 90% on the right reported it. No one on the left reported it. 0. I think there was 10% in the middle, and no one on the left reported it. And I'm like, and the right does it too. Listen, they both do it. This is the problem. We have people living on opposite sides. You got the North Pole, you got South Pole, you got liberals, conservatives. They're not seeing the same world. They're not seeing the same world. And we got to be that bridge, my friend. And I think that's
the goal. That's the goal. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks a lot, James. We'll talk after, and we'll set this up down the road, and I can't wait to have you back.
Sounds good.
All right, take care. All right, bye-bye. There you have it, folks. Our friend James with his first appearance. And there we go. What do you think of that? I love the guy. Fucking beauty. Yep, confirmed. That's all confirmed.